Enjoy the journey of learning with Anil Kumar. Let us explore cumulative frequency graph and then make a box and whisker diagram. An important exercise for all the students taking statistics. Here is a question shared by one of my IB student, and I hope its solution will help many others. A large company surveyed 160 employees to find out how much time they spend traveling to work on a given day. The results of the survey are shown in the cumulative frequency diagram. On the next page, I'll show you a bigger one so that you can really read the values. We need to answer these four questions. First is find the median number of minutes spent traveling. B is find the number of employees whose traveling time is within 15 minutes of the median. C is only 10% employees spent more than k minutes traveling to work. Find the value of k. So, for the 10% employees. D. Make a box and whisker diagram from the results of the survey. So, here is a slightly bigger diagram from which you can read the values. Let us now try to understand how do we analyze and read the graph properly to answer questions in a test paper. So the very first one here is to find median number of minutes spent traveling to work. And we have a total of 160 employees. So this median number is also called 50th percentile, right? So let's try to understand. So median is also 50th percentile. So in cumulative frequency graphs, we also use the term percentile. Since there are 160 employees, so what is the 50th percentile? 160 times 50%, which is 0.50, correct? So half of this is 80. So that is the number of employees which we are interested in. So on the graph, on y-axis, we are given the cumulative frequency, which is total number of employees, and on the along the x-axis, the independent variable is traveling time. Okay, slightly smaller traveling time. So we'll go to 80 and see what does it correspond to, right? So the scale is 20, 40, 60, 80. So that is the 80, which is the number of employees. So we'll go in this direction, correct? It hits the curve and then we come down to figure out how much time do they make. So that is the time taken, which the horizontal scale gives us the value of 40 minutes, right? So from the graph, we have that the 80th person takes 40 minutes. Perfect. So when you say find the median number of minutes spent traveling to work, it really means median here is 40 minutes. Is that clear to you, right? So now let's move on to the next part. So we just figured out that the median, which is also known as Q2, right, second quartile, same as median, is 40 minutes. Correct. Part B is find the number of employees whose traveling time is within 15 minutes of median. So traveling time is within 15 minutes of median. So median we figured out is 40. So we have to now come up with within 15 minutes of median means of Q2. That means the value is 40 plus or minus 15, correct? So that gives you two values. So if you add, you get 65, 55, and if you subtract, you get 25, correct? So the values which we are interested is from 25 to 55, right? So let's see, go back to the graph. And what we notice here is 25 is right there and 55 is there. You understand? So we are interested within this interval. So I hope that is clear, right? So within this interval, how many employees are there? So we have to move towards the y-axis. So horizontally, it gives you these two values, which we can read now, correct? So you have to read these values. The number of employees will be the difference between these two values. Perfect? So those who take 55 minutes are, if you read here, it gives you a value which is equal to approximately 142. And those which are taking 25 minutes from the graph, it is this value, which is 80. And therefore, the employees within will be 142 minus 80, right? And that gives you 124 employees. Makes sense? So within 15 minutes of median, we have 124 employees as shown here. So these are the employees in between. Is that clear to you? Right? So that is how we have to answer part B of this particular question, right? Let's move on to the part C, which is only 10% of the employees spent more than k minutes traveling. Find the value of k. So we have to now find 10% of the employees. So what is 10% of employees? So basically it is 10% of 160, right? Which is 10% is 10 over 100 or 0.1 of 160, right? Which is 16. Only 10% of the employees spent more than means we are looking into the upper half, right? So upper 116 is what we are interested in finding. So how will you find that? So total is 160, right? So somewhere here we are looking for. You get the idea. So to get the number, what we'll do is we'll take away from 160 these 16 employees. So the cumulative frequency graph will give us the right number. So it comes out to be 441, 144. So 144 is the total number of employees which are below 16, right? So it says only 10% employees spend more than k minutes traveling. Find the value of k, right? So we have to really find out k, which is in minutes, right? So let's go to this graph, find where is 144, right? And corresponding to 144, so we have 100, 120, 140, 145, slightly below this, right? So first I'll highlight so that you have an idea. 144 is somewhere on this side. So 140 and 144. Do you see that? And we're going to go down from here to figure out the time. right? And that gives you the value of k, which is, and that gives you the value of k, which is 56. So from the graph, we find that it is 56 minutes. So that gives you k equals to 56. Is that clear to you? So the steps involved are, there are a total of 160 employees. Find 10% of that, which is 16. Take away 16 so that you know the upper 16, right? 160 minus 16 is 144. Use the graph. From 144, you hit the curve and then come down to see the time they take. And that gives you the value of k as 56. Actually, 56. I wrote 58. Okay, 56, right? So k is in minutes. We'll write 56 as our answer. Is that clear to you, right? So we have analyzed the graph and read all this information from this graph. Now it is time to make a box and whisker diagram. Correct? So earlier we had found Q2. Q2 was equal to 50% of the value, which was 80, right? And that gave us the time, which was, let's go back and just check median, 40 minutes. So that we have already found. And now we'll complete the box and whisker diagram. Correct? So in the box and whisker diagram, we have Q2. We need to find Q3, which is 75% of 160, the total number. And then we'll also find Q1, which is 25%. Clear? Correct. 3/4 and 1/4, right? So 1/4 of 160 is 160 divided by 4, 40. And 3/4 will be 3 times 40, which is 120. Correct? So on the graph, we'll read the values. How much time 1/20th person takes and how much time 40th person takes. So it is out of 160, right? So 120, let's highlight first, right? So that you have an idea, and then we'll calculate the value, correct? 120 and 40 is here. Sorry, this graph is slightly, not very easy to read since the values are very small, but I hope you're understanding the process, right? So 120, let's go that line straight, and it hits somewhere, right? Somewhere here, and we come down. So that value is slightly less than 50, correct? And we can read this as almost 47. So Q3 can be read as 47. We are trying to find time in minutes. Is that clear? And now let's go with 40, 40. Here's the graph right there. And if we bring it down, that is the value which we have. Now, in this case, when you hit this graph, it is almost, we can say, more than 32, right? So, slightly less than 34. So, we'll take this as 33, right? So, we got Q1 and Q3. Lowest and highest values are also given to us. The lowest is at 5 and the highest is at 70, right? So that helps us to sketch the box and whisker diagram, right? So let's sketch it now. So we'll make a box. We know in this box the values Q3 for us is 47, right? Let's say some scale. Well, the diagram is not to the scale though. Q1 is 33. So this is 33. Okay. 40 is kind of closer. 40 minutes is Q2, which is closer to 47. So that is 40. The highest value here is 70, right? So let's say this is 70. And the lowest is 5. Correct? So that becomes the box and whisker diagram, which actually gives us traveling time in minutes. Make sense? Correct? So that is how we are going to draw the box and whisker diagram. Now, from here, you can analyze many things. So I'll leave that for you. And one of those things is you can find interquartile range, right? So a few things which you can find here is IQR, any outliers. To find outliers, once you get IQR, you have to multiply by 1.5 and then check if something is outside, right? Maybe check the lowest value. I hope it makes sense. So that brings us to the end of this video, and I hope you have understood the strategy of how do we read a cumulative frequency diagram and finally plot a box and whisker diagram. I hope it makes sense. Feel free to write your comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your valuable time and all the best.